Well, good morning, everybody. It's dead on, straight up, 9 a.m. here in Chicago, in the Chicago metropolitan area, actually out in the burbs. And I'm excited to get today going. I worked on this week's class over the weekend, and I think I put together something that I'm excited to share, and I hope you're excited to join with me in it. Got a lot going on this week. Got a big announcement for this week. Tons of great stuff to share. So settle in, settle down, join me here for the 9 o'clock Monday morning class, and let's get into it. As always, we start off with $100,000 haircutter and the $100,000 haircutter tip of the day. Today is August 10th. August 10, we're into August. Day 10, August 10, day 222. With 143 days remaining in the year. Leave the corner in. I love to talk about this. Leave the corner in. That's the tip of the day. Leave the corner in is literally, I'm not kidding you, literally probably one of the main reasons I ever went to beauty school in the beginning. Leave the corner in. The idea, and I'm not going to read it to you. I know you guys can read. I know many of you have the book. If you don't have the book, Amazon or ivanzoot.com. Leave the corner in. And let me grab a mannequin here real quick. Leave the corner in. Let's look at this dude right here. He's a good-looking dude. I'm kind of growing the top of my hair. Maybe if I'm lucky, I'm going to end up looking like him. But leave the corner in, as the tip of the day is about where the vertical sides and the horizontal top come together. And there's a weight corner right there. When I went to beauty school, one of the terms we used to describe that convergence of the vertical side and the horizontal top, we called it rectilinear, like a rectangle sculpture, rectilinear sculpture. And we talked about, and I want to get this mannequin on a stick. We talked about cutting our tops square, cutting our sides vertical, and having that corner, a pair of zoot combs, nothing could be better for this, having that corner come together to leave the strength and the masculinity and the power that is strong geometric shapes in haircutting. So here's my story. Here's what happened. I'm getting my hair cut by Elaine at a shop around the corner from my apartment. This would have been 1986. Yeah, 1986. I was working in sales. I was living in my apartments before my wife and I were married. And Elaine used to cut my hair, and I never liked my haircut. I didn't like, but I kept going back. I never was happy with the haircut, but I kept going back. And at one point, I'm asking myself, why do I keep going back? And the answer was, I liked Elaine. And I liked the location, and I liked the music they played on the radio, and I liked the magazines in the rack, and the owner, he seemed like a cool guy, and I liked the bottle of gel that I bought for my hair. And I liked everything except the haircut. And the message I took from this was that the haircut business was not about haircuts. The haircut business was about people. It was about sales. Even though I didn't like the haircut, I kept going back. I come to find out later, after I went to cosmetology school, that the reason I didn't like the haircut was not because there was anything wrong with the haircut. Elaine was a great hair cutter, and the haircuts were great, but they weren't what I wanted. I wanted square. My face was round, and I needed square hair. You can't put round hair on a round head. You got to have that weight corner. Well, as soon as I understood that, and I was able to say to literally any cosmetologist or barber I ever encountered, leave the corner in. By the way, why do you think Ivan always wears flat tops? They got a big old corner. When I was able to say, leave the corner in, leave that weight corner in, don't round me out, boom. Every haircut I ever got after that, I was much happier with. Leave the corner in. Sometimes if the hair is thick, heavy, and bulky, you've got to bevel the corner, or you've got to soften it a little, but that's not the same as rounding it out. I had one hair cutter that worked with me on my team in my shop, and she 90'd everything. Everything was 90, 90, 90, 90 as it came out from the head, and all of her clients looked like Q-tips. Fine. Some clients like that. She was really good at it. They were all perfect and even and dead on. You could check her work with a ruler. But I didn't want it round like that. That's what that tip is about. That's your $100,000 haircut or tip of the day. Leave the corner in. All right, guys. That's your $100,000 haircut or tip for today. Next up for today is the big news, my podcast. The $100,000 Hair Cutter podcast is live. It's on the topic of the week. It is going to be going out every week. It's on Spotify. It's going to be on iTunes. And I have a link for you guys. And if you'll give me a second while we're sitting here talking this morning, I'm going to pull up my link, and I'm going to share that link in the comments on this Facebook post so that anybody that wants to can click on the link and can subscribe to, download, and begin to follow the podcast. All right? That's right. I've been doing this on my Patreon page. It's kind of been under the radar. It's been quiet. I've got the podcast now. I've got advertising sponsoring on the podcast, which makes it something I'm able to do. Let's go to, hang on, chugga here. Just be patient. I'm getting to this stream. Here we are. I am here. Sonia's the last person that commented from Milan. She checked in, and here it is. There's the link. It says, "Are you listening?" And it has the link to the podcast. So get in on it. It's totally free. Listen. You can listen while you run. You can listen while you run around the house. You can listen sitting on the couch. I don't care. Whatever works for you. But that's the podcast. Subscribe, follow, never miss an episode of the $100,000 Hair Cutter podcast. So that's new. Those of you that followed along and were paying attention last week, you know last week was the founders launch for my $100,000 Hair Cutter Academy. Thank you to those who signed up and joined. We had a very successful founders launch. It is locked down now. You can no longer join as a founder. But if you go to any of my social media places and spaces, you'll find links to the $100,000 Hair Cutter Academy, and you are welcome to join in on the wait list. I'm assembling a wait list for the next round. It'll be the actual formal launch of the $100,000 Hair Cutter Academy when the next wave of Academy participants are going to be accepted into the program. And if you're interested in getting your income and haircutting up to 6 figures, hey, shout out Michigan Barber School, Brandon. Good morning, Brandon. Thank you for checking in, and thank you for being here with everybody. Happy to get this going. It's going to be a good day. There you go. And Dot Kerrigan, a comment on our $100,000 haircut tip of the day. Don't make me look like a bowling ball. That's exactly what we were talking about, Dot. You hit it on the dot. How do you like that? I'm funny. All right. So that's $100,000 haircut tip of the day. That is the information on the podcast. That is the information on the Academy. We're going to roll with this. We're going to get started, but I do want to offer a reminder. This class is 9 o'clock this morning. 10 o'clock, I participate in an online class as a contributor on another web space, and I will be back at 11. We're going to be back here this morning at 11 for a special program. I have some featured products this week in the item of the week category, if you will. Last week's item of the week kind of got buried because we were so busy spending so much time, effort, and energy talking about the Academy that last week's item of the week, and for those of you that remember, last week it was the curve comb. I've left those on. Curve combs are going to be on this week as well. We didn't sell any of them last week. I mean, we sold like a few, maybe a couple dozen, but we didn't sell like we normally do with an item of the week because I had been spending so much time and energy focused on the launch of the Academy. So Curve Comb didn't get its chance. Not enough people had the opportunity to get in on Curve Comb. So at 11 o'clock, after my 10 o'clock class elsewhere, I'm going to come back with a little bit of time spent focusing on a couple of featured items. I got a special purchase on a very limited quantity of my Clipper Guy Classic Barber Blenders. I've got a special price and a special purchase opportunity. I have 11 of them. That's all I have is 11 of them. And they probably won't last past today, which is great. But huge sale on these at a very special price. We'll talk about it in the 11 o'clock video. Are we ready to move on? Show me a heart, show me a thumb, show me a smile if you are ready to move on to the topic of the week. And it's a big one. I spent a lot of time thinking about this. I did research for this topic. I took notes for this topic. I wanted to be ready to have this topic's conversation when we got to Monday in the Monday class. I saw one thumb. There's another thumb. I know there's a wee bit of a delay. All right, now we got the thumbs rolling. Thank you very much. I saw Lisa the Barber's logo flew by. She must be on here this morning. Always good to have you checking in as well. All right, guys. The bump and the slump. That is the name of the topic of the week. The bump and the slump. What are we talking about? What we're talking about here is, and I have the opportunity because of my reach, because of my friends, associates, connections in the business, nationwide, I mean worldwide. I talk to people from Australia all the time. I talk to people from the UK and from Europe. I don't have a lot of contacts in Antarctica. I don't have a lot of contacts on the African continent, and I don't hear much from South America, probably because my Spanish or my Portuguese are not what they could be. There's an opportunity for me to do a little growth there. But from around the world, I've heard from a lot of people about what has happened after coronavirus lockdown, as shops got back open. And I know, as I am speaking, there are people in places like California that are shut back down again. And this is really, it's a mess, guys. It really is. But let's talk about what happened nationwide. As I heard from people around the country, I heard these stories consistently. This was not one place. This was not one category or sector of the business or industry. This was pretty universal. And it's what we call the bump and the slump. What happened was, after coronavirus lockdown was lifted for the beauty industry, we saw a huge bump in business. Volume shot up. We were eating up pent-up demand. We had people who needed haircuts, who wanted haircuts, who couldn't get haircuts, who were coming in to get haircuts. We had shops and salons reporting they were busier than they had ever been, busier than they had ever seen. The bump. If business was normally here, at lockdown it was 0, but it didn't go to here. It went to here. It was big. We saw a bump. And that bump generally lasted 2.5 to 3 weeks. And if these are your circumstances, if you're hearing me talk about this and you're nodding your head, if you're hearing me talk about this and you're sadly smiling, because it's not a happy thing, but if you can relate to this, throw me a thumb, throw me a smiley, throw me a heart that you're in it. We're in it together. We saw the bump. 2.5 to 3 weeks. And after 2.5 to 3 weeks, boom, it dropped like a rock. Business volume just literally fell off, fell out, gone. Not down to where we used to be, not 0, but closer to 0 than closer to old numbers. We hear people reporting traffic at less than half of what they had pre-coronavirus. Now, I've been in the business over 30 years, so I've seen a little bit. And I want to share with you guys a comparison to 2008. In 2008, when the economy suffered, when the economy stumbled, by the way, I was also in the business September 11th, 2001, when we saw the challenges in our nation tied to the attacks of September 11th. There's been some things that have happened during the time I've been in the business. I was also here in the 90s, during the Clinton era, when business was just gangbusters. I've been through it all, at least during the time I've been here. And I realize there are people listening to me who can hear me talking, who've been in the business twice as long as I have, and they've seen even more. But in 2008, our business struggled. When the economy got tight, what happened in '08, and some of it is happening again, some of it is part of the bump and the slump, and that is clients traded down market. In some cases due to unemployment, interruption in income, interruption in money and cash flow, clients traded down market. Let me explain what that means. Down market means if a customer was getting in their car and driving downtown in a major city to get a haircut, paying premium dollars, perhaps when the economy got tight, they stayed in the suburbs. They got a haircut in the suburbs at a nice salon. The client that was getting their haircut in the suburbs at a nice salon might have dropped down to a neighborhood salon. The client who was getting their haircut at a neighborhood salon might have dropped down to a chain salon. The client who'd been getting their haircuts in a chain salon dropped down to a budget chain salon. The clients that had been getting their haircut in budget chain salons started using coupons, or stopped getting haircuts, or waited longer, or even bought a scissors or a clipper. That's called trading down market. Everybody dropped down a notch. And here's the thing that's interesting about trading down market. And I'm going to go to my experiences in '08. When I experienced this in 2008, at the time I was working for and working with a major clipper manufacturer. And we saw two things happen. And this is where it mirrors coronavirus. The behavior on consumers' part looks a lot like what it did in '08 here in coronavirus. And here's what was happening. Before things happened, before the problem showed up, we were comfortable. I like to say fat and happy. We were doing business. We were making money. Things were good. And then it fell apart. They kind of caught us by surprise. The economy dropped. Coronavirus locked us out. September 11th attacks happened. One way or the other, they caught us. And boom, we suffered a loss of business with people trading down market. Now, at the time with the clipper manufacturer, two things happened. Number one, home clipper kits took off with a bullet. We couldn't make them fast enough. We couldn't import them fast enough. That's exactly what happened here during coronavirus. You went online, you went to Amazon to buy a clipper. In March, you couldn't find a clipper. In April, once the hair got long, you couldn't buy a clipper. And the clippers you could buy were junk you didn't want, or the prices were sky high. That's number one. Number two, home hair cutting took off. Number two, in 2008, our industry scrambled for education. Our industry scrambled for education, specifically the chains. Because what happened when people started trading down market, the chain salons came running to us to say, we have an opportunity here. We have an opportunity here. We have people coming to us who never would have come to us before. People considering us as a choice who would not have considered us as a choice before. And recognizing these people are giving us a shot. Hamilton guys, I'm not throwing away my shot. That's exactly what was going on. They said, we got to make the most of this. We got to get these people in, and we got to make them thrilled with the down market choice that they made. They chose to come down to us. And it's not an insult, and it's not bad to think that you are down market from somebody. It is what it is. If there's somebody in your neighborhood cutting hair for 100 and you're cutting hair for 50, you are down market. It is what it is. But what happened was, if people came down market, and when they went down market, if they found satisfaction, if they were pleased, if they were happy, and if they were satisfied, they were fundamentally changed and they were never going back. Think about that. You'd been going to a schmancy fancy place for 100, money got tight, you found a haircut for 50, and it was good. You've been buying a $30 haircut in a neighborhood salon, and you cut out a coupon and you went to Quickie Clips. And if the haircut was good and the environment was good and you liked it, you would never go back. You were fundamentally changed. You found satisfaction down market. And I'm not saying that you looked back on the situation and you felt previously you were cheated. That's not the case. But you felt that you found something that worked for you. You were never going to go back and spend double again. There was no reason to. Show me a thumb, show me a smile, show me a happy face if you get it. If you're with me on this, if you understand and if you agree. Because then we'll move on. Because trading down market was a huge part of what happened in 2008 and how that impacted our business. We were comfortable, maybe lazy, maybe complacent. We're happy with what we had, and boom, they pulled the rug out from under us. Now, the bump and the slump. What happened after coronavirus? Well, people definitely are looking to trade down market. We have record unemployment. We have people struggling. The money's not out there. They got to do what they got to do. They are trading down market. But let's look at what happened. We opened up after coronavirus. We spent 2.5 to 3 weeks eating up that pent-up demand, catching up on our haircutting, making money like there was no tomorrow, rolling in dough, and we were happy. We had a mask on, but we were happy. Boom. Then it fell off. Where did it go? Let's talk about it. Here's what happened. Couple things. Number one, seniors never came back. A lot of senior folks who have been told repeatedly that they are high risk not only for contracting coronavirus, but they are high risk for less successful outcomes from a coronavirus infection. The seniors, and by the way, people, since '08, I never looked this statistic up. If someone that's watching wants to look the statistic up, I think you should do that. The question is, how many more seniors do we have today in 2020 than we had in 2008? What is, put it in the chat here, if you look it up, Google it. What was the population of America over the age of 65 in 2008? And what is the population of America over the age of 65 in 2020? Bet that number's a lot bigger. See, there's more people becoming seniors every day. So, there's more seniors and they're staying away, number one. Number two, clients are gapping out longer. Clients came in during the 3-week bump and they're just staying away. They got a good short haircut. Take me short, buddy. I'm not going to be back for a while. They got a good short haircut, and they know they're not coming back for a while. They're gone for a little bit anyways. That's another reason for the slump. This one's painful. The next one here is a challenge. And if you feel the pain on this one, if you're willing to be honest, give me a thumb, give me a smile, or give me a heart. This one's tough. Clients are using this as an opportunity to leave you. We like to think that clients stay with us because they love us. We like to think that clients stay with us because they're so overwhelmingly happy. Maybe. In a lot of cases, clients stay with us because they're afraid of going anywhere else. They're afraid of the unknown. You may not be great, but whatever else is out there is probably worse. That kind of thinking. Clients stay with us because they don't want to hurt our feelings. Clients stay with us because they don't know where to go. Clients stay with us for a lot of reasons. But with coronavirus locking us out and locking us down, there are many clients out there who simply use this as an opportunity to blow us off, to go away, and to make a change. Some of them have wanted to make this change for a long, long time. Yet they didn't know how. They weren't sure what to do. And coronavirus lockdown gave them the excuse. It gave them the opportunity. It made it very, very easy for them to go away. And you know what they did? They went away. They went somewhere else. A lot of clients were lost down market. That's my other note here. We already talked about that. But I want to talk about the number one reason behind the slump after the bump. The number one reason why business fell off like a rock after the 2.5 to 3 week slump. It's pretty simple. Clients came in. Clients gave us a chance. Clients came in. Clients looked around. And they did not like what they saw. They did not feel comfortable getting a haircut in the environment. They did not feel comfortable with what they were seeing in sanitation, infection control, and disinfection. They didn't feel safe, and they didn't feel you were clean. This is what has happened. Now let's talk about it. It's what I'm calling, I've coined the term, I created it. You're going to hear it. You're going to hear it a lot over the next few years. It's sanitation optics. Sanitation optics. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is it doesn't matter if you are clean. You got to be clean. It doesn't matter if you are clean. It matters if clients feel that you are clean. See the difference there? It's their perception. It's their gut. It's their mind. It's their feelings about your sanitation and infection control. It's the optics on it. I cannot tell you the number of times I heard this. We just went, my wife and I went for a little social distance hangout with some friends of ours, a couple that live in our area. They're our age. They have kids our age. We know them from the community. We sat in chairs on their porch 6 feet apart with a face mask on. And of course, because Ivan was there, even when Ivan's not there, we talked about haircuts. And both the husband and the wife shared what they saw at their respective haircut service providers. And it sounded like this. One guy cutting hair was wearing a mask and the other guy cutting hair wasn't. One client was wearing a mask, the other client wasn't. One guy was taking people's money on the floor, the other guy was standing behind the plastic screen. Wild inconsistencies in the application of sanitation principles and practices. You can't do this. Number one, you got to get caught sanitizing. These are my tips to address sanitation optics. These are the things you need to be doing. Every client, every haircut, every visit, every time, consistently. We've got to get our hands wrapped around this because this is what is causing the slump. People coming back once and never coming back again. People coming back once and staying away much longer because they don't feel comfortable. Number one, get caught sanitizing. The principles and this, I've been saying that phrase for years. People know I've got a long-term relationship with Clipperside, with Barbicide. I've been working with these guys for years. You want to be doing these things, as I like to say, in visual range of the customer. Real simple English, folks. If I don't see you spray the clipper, you didn't spray the clipper. I'm going to say that again. If I don't see you spray the clipper, you didn't spray the clipper. And it doesn't matter if you did spray the clipper, because if I don't see it, it didn't happen. In my eyes, in my mind, for my level of comfort, I think you skipped it. And that's not going to fly. Get caught sanitizing. Number two, start talking about sanitizing. Don't make this the uncomfortable elephant in the room. If the elephant is in the room, call it an elephant. Get out in front of it. Talk about it. Hey, you do know we use Clipperside and we spray our clippers every time. You just saw me spray the clipper. You know I sprayed the clipper. It's not enough. I got to hear you talk about it. I got to hear you say, you know what, Clipperside is the #1 disinfectant spray in the world for beauty and barber tools. You know it's made by Barbicide, the people that make the blue stuff. Do you know that this is the best, and that's why we use it, because we're protecting you. Don't be afraid to say that stuff. Don't be afraid to be doing this stuff. Don't be afraid to embrace this stuff. Yeah, we're going to talk about coronavirus, and we're going to talk about baseball, and we're going to talk about politics. We're going to cover all that, but make sure we talk about this in front of the client, with the client, constantly. Own it. Email communication. If you're doing a newsletter, if you do email blasts, if you do text blasts, however you electronically communicate with your customer base, use these conversations to talk about sanitation and infection control. Hey guys, here's what we're doing at ABC Barbershop to protect you. Hey guys, here's the policies and procedures at XYZ Beauty Parlor to protect you. Get out in front of it. Put it out there. Own it. You want to own awesome flat tops? You want to own amazing highlights? Trust me, that stuff doesn't matter now. The game is all sanitation and infection control. Social media. Tweeting it. Tweet pictures of your crew cleaning. YouTube videos of how you mix your barbicide. YouTube videos of what the steps are to come in and visit your salon or shop. Post a Facebook Live just like this, talking to your team about your sanitation principles and practices. Sanitation optics is what it's going to boil down to for the future of your ability to build business in our business. They're not going to care nearly as much about the quality of the haircut until after they care about the quality of the infection control. This is what the bump and the slump has been all about. And trust me, if you get on this stuff in this way, you're going to go bump, slump, rocket ship. The rocket ship is what follows the slump, but only for those people who get behind and embrace this opportunity passionately and enthusiastically. You've got to own this. You literally have to own this. That's what I got in conversation for you today on the bump and the slump. That's what caused it. That's what's at the root of it. And that's what's going to address, fix, or cure this for the future. Let's take a look at comments. Let's see. We got a bunch of people. My sanitation practice on the front door. That's awesome. I like it. It's good to do a faint bleach smell in the shop. People like the smell of clean. Lynn, great point. You know what? Pine cleaner, bleach, those cleaning chemicals. You know, we know when we smell nail acrylics. We know when we smell perm solution. We know when we smell clean. And again, it's not about if it's clean. It's about, do we think it's clean and how do we feel about clean? Good comment, Lynn. Dot, I'm saying stuff is out and visible for them to see. I start wiping down while they're still in the shop. Couldn't agree more. That was Dot. Some of them give us, for making them wear masks, but it's either you wear it or you don't get your hair cut. Yeah, zero tolerance policy on that. When I talk about guys walking into shops going, one guy's got a mask, one guy doesn't, one client has a mask, one client doesn't. Yeah, that's not negotiable. No masky, no cutty. You don't have a mask, don't come in. You don't have a mask, you don't get served. You have the right to do that. And anybody that comes in that tells you, I got a medical condition, take your medical condition to a different salon. That's it. I'm sorry. We are under no obligation whatsoever to serve you if you come in the shop in violation of our health and safety principles and practices. Question, how do you remind these clients that the restroom is not for public use at this time and not to lose them as a client after you've posted on the front door and the restroom door and they see you disinfecting the restroom? My answer would be, it isn't not necessary to fully disinfect the restroom after every customer. Obviously, you know, people should be doing their part in using the restroom in a very clean manner. I don't know that I would be closing the restroom to the public. You're a public place. Customers definitely can use the restroom. I think the number, I don't know where you're located. I can't speak to your exact personal unique salon situation. However, I don't know that there's a line of random individuals trying to get into your bathroom. At the end of the day, we want to remember we are people. And we are people looking out to help people. That's at the core of our industry. I don't think if somebody who was not getting a haircut in my shop walked into my shop and said, "Excuse me, can I use the bathroom?" I don't think I'm going to say no. Go use the bathroom. If we have to clean the bathroom, we'll clean it again. That's okay. We are here to serve the public. You want to use my bathroom? Wear a mask. You wearing a mask? Take a leak. I don't have a problem with that. All right. See, what else do we have? You have to allow clients to use the bathroom. You have to allow clients to use the bathroom. I know. Let them see me throw away my razor blade. That's Lisa's comment. Lisa, that's the law. Yeah, the sharps bin should be on every... Don't put a sharps bin in the dispensary. The sharps bin should be on every station. Those little ones, they're like $1.75 a piece. Order 10 of them. Put one on every station. That's just visible sanitation optics. I do want to talk about one other thing. Zap. Let's talk about temperature taking. Okay? Taking people's temperatures is kind of silly. A couple of reasons why. Now, that doesn't mean it's not the law in some places, and it's not the law. It's a recommendation. I'm not going to tell you not to do it. We're going to talk about doing it. Here's what you should know. Let's know the truth. The truth is, number one, unless you're spending crazy big money on those thermometers, they're not accurate. The range, 10 degrees. You could be really sick or dead one way or nothing wrong with you. The thermometers are not accurate. Number two, the thermometer is only as accurate as the person using it. And if you haven't been trained to use it, you might be using it wrong. Number three, are you taking my temperature or are you taking the temperature of the picture window behind me? You're just not good at this game. It's like an arcade game shooting. You don't have that many points. You're certainly not getting a high score. The thermometer's not accurate. Most importantly, the number of people who actively are ill with coronavirus, who are infected with coronavirus, who are contagious with coronavirus, the number of them that run a fever is very, very, very low. Having a fever or not having a fever is not a consistent and reliable measure of your safety as it relates to coronavirus. Okay, we got that out there. We said it. Now, let's talk about one other thing. That doesn't matter. If taking temperatures makes people feel safe, if it makes them feel secure, if it makes them think that it's safer to get a haircut in your store, take the temperatures. Optics, sanitation optics. It's not about, is it working? It's about, and I'm not telling you to do things that don't work. I'm not telling you to fake it. That's not the point. The point is you want to do everything you can to make people feel safe and comfortable. It's just the way of the world we're going to live in. My last comment on this has to do with masking. And yeah, Lynn said that. That's exactly right, Lynn, about the temperatures. You're dead on. Maybe it's not appropriate to say dead on when we talk about coronavirus. You know what I meant. But now you derailed my thinking. What was I talking about? We talked about temperatures. Talked about... Okay, we're back. We had a little bit of a glitch in our connectivity there, and I apologize for that. But we'll just finish up our broadcast here for the day. This is the bump and the slump. These are some of my thoughts and ideas on what we can do to come back hard after this coronavirus lockdown. Sanitation optics really is the bottom line on all of this. We want to be doing everything we can to make clients feel as comfortable as absolutely possible. Oh, we were talking about masking, and we were talking about the realities of masking. Prediction, guys. This is Ivan making a prediction. Masks are here to stay. Long after coronavirus is but a memory, you're probably still going to be wearing a mask to cut hair. in the United States of America. America has been slow to be okay with vaccines in general. We're going to be slow to pick up on a vaccine that happens for coronavirus. We've been slow to adopt masking. But if you look around the world, especially Southeast Asia, many countries in Southeast Asia have been cutting hair wearing masks for decades. That's just been their culture. That's been the way they behave. I have a sneaky feeling in some service occupations, in some jobs, in some situations, masks are here to stay. And I believe haircutting is one of those situations. It is impossible to maintain social distance, whether we're talking coronavirus or seasonal flu or any of a variety of maladies that might affect us. I think you're going to be cutting hair. If you're hair cutting, you're going to be cutting hair in a mask for the rest of your career. It's not a bad thing. It is what it is. All right, folks, if I can help you, watch this on replay, share it with a friend, follow the new podcast. I put the link in the comments here. So if temp taking is inaccurate, do you deny a haircut? If somebody shows a spike in a temperature on that thermometer, I would take their temperature. I would, if their temperature is high, I would offer them a seat, isolated away from other people. I would offer them a cool drink, and I would give them a few minutes, and I would zap them again. You know, it's going to be 95 degrees in Chicago. If you're walking outside from the parking lot to my shop, your temps might go up a bit. Sun's beating down on you, you're running hot. Come on in, have a seat, let me get you a cold drink, sit down, relax, use the restroom, wipe a cold towel on your head. They're probably not sick, realistically. But if they do that and they still have a fever and you took it 6 times, why don't you come back and get a haircut next week when you're feeling better? Let that temperature drop. Feel a little better. We'll be here for you. We'll see you in a little bit. And if they go down the road and somebody's happy to cut them, somebody's happy to cut them. I think that customer will think twice, long and hard, and they will remember your abundance of care, your desire to act above and beyond as a way of protecting yourself, your teammates, your business, your clients, and your reputation. Great class. Thank you. All right, folks, thank you so much for being here. We're coming up on 10 o'clock. I got a 10 o'clock meeting, and I'll be back at 11 for some hair cutting. So come back and see me at 11 o'clock. Have a great day. Go be a $100,000 hair cutter, and if you need help doing that, reach out to me. That's my job.